Hi, old friend. Welcome to July's bullet journal segment, and it's going to be slightly different because I just don't have a lot of time on my hands at the moment to think, let alone edit videos and so on. But before we go into this, let me just explain a little bit about what it's going to be and why it's going to be that way. Let's put this on. Okay, so anyone who's been following me for the longest time will know that I use my bullet journal for discipline to help me achieve my habits, to help me achieve my goals. So the big theme for this video is going to be halfway through the year. How am I getting on with my 2024 vision boarding? I'm going to be talking you through all of the kind of pledges I've made myself this year, how I implement that, and with the help of this, it's kind of like the one consistent thread that runs throughout my life. Um, so yeah, there's that. I'm also having some tea and an almond croissant as I'm doing this with the mic, and it's a chatty one. So anyone who experiences, I think, is it misophonia, the one basically where you don't like the sound of people eating, then you may find this a little bit difficult to listen to because that's going to be happening as I go through this video. So a little trigger warning. On top of that, though, on the other hand, if you're really into ASMR, you might love it. I also have to every so often just check my video because when the mic's on, it overheats the phone, which is what I'm recording on. So why the vulnerability? Why the honesty? Aren't YouTube channels meant to be all about polished and perfection, etc.? I say to hell with that because actually one thing I've always subscribed to is do the best that you can with the resources that you have. And the reason why I subscribe to that is because if I was to sit on the sidelines and wait for perfection, nothing in my life would ever get done. I have, good news, gone as far on my vision board as I possibly, more than I would have ever thought in my life, to be honest, because of my ability to just take initiative, get things done without overthinking it, in some aspects, anyways. So, welcome to this episode of the July Bullet Journal. Here we are. You've already seen that I've done my weekly spreads a while back, to be honest. So that's stayed the same. I think in June, I did the boxes for my weekly spread. In May, I did these, what should we call these, rectangles, if you like. And in July, I've decided to do a mix of both to see which one works better. I think I might prefer the rectangles, but I guess there's a good way of knowing that is to be able to compare it every week. So that's one of the other beautiful things I love about the bullet journal method is that it is so adaptable, and it should be. It should always be function over form. Now, my first issue is wait a minute. Where's my rubber? My first issue is that one of the pledges I made myself this year for my bullet journal was to practice the use of watercolors. Obviously, January that didn't really happen. February onwards, though, happened really well. But I don't really know how I'm going to be thinking about my watercolors this month. There's February. There's March. Oh, I really liked this one. That was inspired by a morning drive. Did a little quarterly review of my vision board, which we'll come on to in a little bit. There's April. Also a very, very poignant day for me. I chose to commemorate. May, and sadly, June. Dystopian. Absolutely dystopian. So what I usually do with my bullet journal process is go through the journey that I had set for myself in this month. We start with, can you see that? Yeah, wonderful. Okay, art is activism collaboration. That's happening this forthcoming Sunday, so I'm not going to tick it just yet, but it's well on its way. The threes, that's happening following Sunday, well on its way. It still hasn't happened yet though, so I'm not going to tick it off. Reading Club Season 4, yes, that's going really well. Photo walks, that one didn't happen. This one's happening 6th of July, but it's well on its way. Pride, finding the happy medium interviews, okay. That's not happening, but I have done it's not happening, but I've done all the legwork for it, and the reason why it's not happening is good enough. Basically, I've done the work, but the outcome hasn't been what I wanted it to be, and that's okay. But it's still a tick because I did touch that. Book swap event went well, and directing part of the show that I'm on peacefully. it's ongoing, so I'm going to keep that on there because it hasn't quite finished yet. For content wise, India, I filmed my bits, so I'm going to tick them off. My editor's a little bit delayed, but that's mainly because of me, because I had some technical issues with the mic. I've done my 2 character strengths podcast episodes and screening my Sunny Sing reach out. Yes, I did that yesterday as well. So it seems like all of my goals have been pretty much met for June. Yet to think of a memory that I want to print out in the form of a Polaroid, and then my favorites. What is it that I want to commemorate this month? So it could be things like favorite show. I loved Dairy Girls. I mean, I've watched it before, but I watched it again this time round with season 3. I'd never watched season 3, so I'm a little bit infatuated with Dairy Girls. Bridgerton season 3 came out in both its parts. Loved that as well. But that's definitely a big yes point for me. What do we notice that these have in common, peoples? Nicola Coughlan. Come on. Absolute bay. Sometimes I might have. Do you know what food? I really enjoy chicken salads at the moment. I think the heat wave is helping. What about a song? There's a couple of songs I rediscovered recently from Sanam Teri Kasam. Um, there's quite a few actually, song wise. I really like the Mr. and Mrs. Mahi soundtrack this month. Jhoom again came back to me. Do you know what? Dance as well. I did Hai Rama with Supriya. Loved that. And I also loved Chaudhry Shub with Lena. Awesome. Nice bit of reviewing there. Helps me to pause and sit down and really take stock. And as we move over into July, let's talk a little bit about how and why I am reviewing my bullet journal in this manner today. Quick sip of tea though. Oh, you know what? I woke up this morning and I actually wanted to make an iced coffee, but it wasn't going to cool down enough. So I popped that in the fridge because by the time that I actually had done my first leg of work, I realized I think I want a nice hot cup of tea instead. Okay, so I have had a few almond croissants, but none beats this bakery that I have in my town, and it does the most. Oh, you know, when you just dip it into tea, look at that. Oh, the crunch on the top, the soft bread, the gooey marzipan, and it's not really like gooey; it's the perfect texture as well. Ah, Bismillahi awwalahu wa akhiruh. I forgot to say that. God is good, life is good. I have a lot of gratitude there for that. All right. What I usually do is sometimes start with thinking about the colors for this month. Evidently, I've gone for yellow and brown. So let's stick with that. Let's go with yellow. This one. Oopsie. What might help is if I bring my pens down. That way I'm not knocking you about. Let's use these two. Where's my ruler gone? I feel like someone's borrowed it and didn't give it back. So I shall have to make do with my pencil case one. I don't really like getting the ink on it, but it is what it is. Okay, let's go with this one. One thing I love about this bullet journal, it's a Yop and Tom one, more recent, the newer ones, So they have these little marks halfway to give you quadrants. Yeah. Let's make that a little thicker. It's a brush pen actually, so the ruler's not going to work the best. Let's freehand it. Cool, cool, cool. Now, next step. Quite like this process of stamping. What colour do I want to use here? Oh, I think it's got to be this first one here. Let me grab some tissue. Okay, so what I usually like to do is check the previous month where I placed everything. The reason why is because when I put the Polaroid here, if I have all the Polaroids there in the same place, it's just going to basically thicken that part. So I try to mix it up every now and then. So if I had Polaroid there in June, Polaroid there in May. I didn't get one printed. Okay, I need to do that ASAP. My favorite memory of that month, or one of at least. This one's where the memory one should go. Cool, cool. You know what I need is a little bit of background noise, because the fact that I'm giving you guys a chatty one is a little bit alien, because I have a complex about the sound of my own voice, as I'm sure many of us do. So this is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but probably a good thing. Let me just throw on some royalty-free music so that YouTube doesn't... I mean, I don't think you'll be able to hear it over my mic, but let's not take the risk. Because all this effort for a chatty one, imagine it gets taken down. How sad would that be? Yeah, that would do.
Introducing the ultimate AI voiceover. Yep, like me. Go to artlist.io and get exclusive voices for your videos. Choose your voice, write your text, generate in seconds. Get Artlist's AI voiceover and start creating without limits.
Wonderful. Okay. About this one, because of the stamps and the space that I have to do the American spelling of favorites. without the U. So any of my British friends who come for me know that it's intentional. I would never spell it with the American spell. Intentionally. Wait, that's ironic because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And my toxic trait is believing that, oh, maybe I would have been able to fit it in actually. I love this process because it really forces me to slow down. I have to do a little bit of searching each time. Trust me, it's kind of like the monthly check-in, the monthly therapy-ish. I mean, it should never replace real therapy, but it certainly just helps me get together my life, not only just to plan things for the future, but also just to take stock and remind myself about, hey, look what you've done so far. This is what you want to do. This is what you want. This is what you have done, and it's a good way to celebrate some achievements in some way. Let's tidy this up a little bit using this. Anyone still use W.H. Smith anymore? I've had this corrector pen for years. I mean, we still have one in our town. I just wonder if people actually use it. I do like the little rusticness of it. I might actually leave it this month. Some months I get rid of it, some months I keep it. Okay, I still have no idea what I'm doing. Oh. I mean, is there any point in putting this down in case I don't do any watercolors? I really should. Let me stick to my commitment of doing watercolors. How I'm going to do it though is I have no idea. Around there, cool. Can you see how very scientific I am about all of this? That's the point. I'm not, because why am I going to be out here being a gatekeeper to how I organize my life when actually a lot of people can do with this? They don't know how to get started, or they're worried too much about perfectionism. All right, what is my intentional title page going to be this month, sorry, for July? So I was thinking, let's take a pause here and talk a little bit about my vision board. I have a vision board. It's A3, A4. It's on one page, split into 4 quadrants. And the way I did it, for those of you who need to watch the video, go back and watch it. I used the character strength survey, and I looked at what are the character strengths that are quite lower down for me that I can channel this year in order to be able to go to achieve some of my goals. So the key virtue was courage. Um, Hence why, at the very beginning, that's my word of the year, courage. And then I had the 4 quadrants for each of the character strengths, um, to do with, some of the character strengths to do with courage that I will lower down for my list. And that was things like integrity, persistence, bravery, zestfulness. Um, I mean, I don't think integrity is one of the words. I think I had to adapt it to fit it in. Then I created a list of not a list. I made a collage of different images that represented those things. I watched this video. Again, I can't remember the person I referenced her though in that video that said use images of yourself in that. So I guess July being this first part of the second half of the year is a great start for us to actually think about, well, what does that now look like currently, and how can we move it forward and ensure that we stay on our goals? So let's do a cheeky little divider. Should I do it like this? Yeah, no, because the whole idea was to kind of make each point like a Polaroid. Yeah, let's stick with this. To be fair, I think I can carry on with. Give that a little wipey wipe. Otherwise it'll come over onto your other projects. Right, where are my watercolor pencils at? This isn't it. So let's get rid of these. Tidy up some space. Watercolor pencils, here you are. Should I get my watercolor book? Yes, I probably should. I'm gonna do it the proper way. Dusty. So I have this book that was given to me as a gift. Beautiful, right? Love the colors on this. Might even still be able to use some of this. This one looks unused. Anyways, let's see what we do. I guess that might actually be an end to the chattiness of it for now. You might just enjoy the process, and then I'll come back a little while and explain it a bit further. Hold on, I need some almond. I have a version of my vision board in front of me. So I guess what I'm going to do is, I think for each quadrant, I'm going to use a single color to represent it, either a single or a double color. And I think what I'm going to do is again split it in like almost like a, hey, where's my pencils at? Here we go. Like a diamond shape. In the middle parts, I'm going to talk about, in the middle parts, I'm going to do what is yet to achieve, what is the thing that I want to kind of push my focus on in July. And on the outer parts, I'm going to put in something that I'm grateful that I've already achieved and I'm doing well on from my vision board. Oh dear gosh, I don't actually know how to do this with. Another bite, and then put your best foot forward so I can get cracking doing it at the time. You know what, guys? I'm really feeling uninspired about these images, but mm, okay. Here's how I'll just do it. Do the best that you can with the resources that you have. Let's go in and pigmentation these a little bit. I've decided with the time that I have, instead of overthinking it, excuse me, I'm gonna make these a bit more pigmented so that they're nicer in terms of a background. I'm gonna add the water in, let it dry. And then on top of it, I'm just gonna pen rather than think about multiple colors and things like that. I'm just gonna do a pen sketch. Excuse me, pen sketch to commemorate the key things. I'll even use words if I have to. I'll try to avoid it, but let's see. Let's use this pen. This brush will do. Yeah, that will do. Start with the lighter one and go darker. I think, not this year because I've already got a lot on my plate, but I do like the medium of watercolors. I am not the most graceful with it at the moment. I don't have any technique, but I think I would love to do a workshop on it just to get a bit more comfortable about how to use. Because I think I love water, something there about the temperaments, potentially. I love being around water, being in water, unless it's like really deep oceany water. That's kind of scary still. But I guess that's what I like about it in that it can be quite volatile. Is that the right word? Look at that. When you add the water, the harsh pencil lines soften up and it creates this much more warmer effect to it. So you might have thought, well, why didn't you just leave it as pencil lines before that? Nah, there's something about this texture that I love. Alrighty, you dry, you dry. While I kept cracking on with the next two colours. Which ones? So it's what I'm yet to achieve, what I'm grateful for. Let's go over to interesting. Okay. I don't think I have an orange. Right, so this one looks like orange, right? Everyone vouch for it. Yep, orange. Everyone can see that. Why does the nib look brown? Maybe I need to mix it with the yellow. Let's try and do some of that. Come on. Oops. Try and keep the strokes in the same direction so it doesn't look too rough later. Come on, lads. Where's the orange? Oh, kind of there. It's at the end. But I like this one though. Still, it's a bit more textured. feel like I've used that word a lot today. This is real verbal diarrhea. I don't usually just share the things that are on my head with random people or on a public platform, but there we go. Why not? Yeah, they will do. Maybe I should have added some red. Let's do that in the next round when it goes a bit drier. Okay, and then what's next? This color here. This one's kind of, yeah. I'm so grateful for this process of vision boarding and bullet journaling. It literally just forces me to stop. Instead of carrying on autopilot, forces me to stop, and the consistency of doing it. Also, only having like 1 month at a time planned just again forces me to do this on a regular interval. Look at just, oh, I love this medium, man. Look at it. Okay, let's not overdo that, otherwise it will get wavy. Interesting. Ah, okay. This one is probably my weakest in terms of goals. Everything, every other quadrant was okay. This one is the one that I'm not, and it's the persist one. So while I'm doing this, I want to think about what is stopping me from persisting with my goals. What is keeping me away from consistency and commitment. Okay, you know what? This is a good thing about having multiple little mini goals, and each one is like. Good thing is that while I do feel, yay, great, I've worked out so much of it, there's still a few that's not happening as quickly, or I don't know, I shouldn't say as quickly. I don't want to put a marathon. It's not a race. It's a there's some that I've overlooked. That's the word. There's some that I've overlooked, which I need to be a bit more mindful of. God, I'm so impressed with these. That's not even sarcastic. I didn't even mean for it to be as good as okay as they are right now. You can tell I got a bit bored here. I love this pen. My students got this pen for me. I want to save it, man. It's like a nice gel pen, really nice. What can I use instead? Maybe I should just use it. Really just don't save it. Use it. That was the whole purpose of it. And then it finishes off with writing the month down here, or rather stamping it. Gives that a bit of time to dry up. I usually like to do a little tagline or something to remind me about something this month. Comes usually from like a line of poetry or a song lyric. Okay, that. Well, actually, no. Why not? Why not bring you with me on the entire journey? Got to be careful with the pencil because it's obviously watercolor pencils I've used. Got to be careful with the way that I rub out a big reveal. That brings us to the end of July's very chatty bullet journal spread. It's quite personal, it's quite intentional, it's not as aesthetic as one might hope, but you know what? If you haven't already done yourself a vision board or gone through that process, please watch the original video so that you can think about the process behind it or how I did it as inspiration. And then, of course, put in steps in place to review them constantly. My 2024 vision board, if I just give you a quick summary, I've been following this process for 4 years now. Sorry, I have maybe a keyword. Forget about me. Actually, you might choose a keyword. You might choose images. You might choose a sentence, etc. But it's visualizing it or writing it down is really key. And I work with this constantly with my clients all the time as well. So then what happens is you have your annual goals, which you turn into monthly targets and break it down into how you want to achieve that, which then turns into weekly habits. And sometimes it might even turn into daily habits, for example. So there's a real process to it. It's not just something that I decide to wake up in the morning and turn all beautiful. And I invite everyone that if you are struggling with, I mean, the bullet journal method, if you don't know, is actually a neurodivergent tool created by someone who is neurodivergent to help organize him. I'm a big believer in functionality over form. Allow the whole beautifulness of it. And some of you guys might even look at that and be overwhelmed. Others will judge it and be like, ew, what even is that? Is that art? Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it makes sense to you. That's my key takeaway. And do the best that you can with the resources that you have. Until next time, bye.